This week's edition of Off the Court with Brady Sallee brought to you by the Trent Tucker Rule. Hi again, everybody. Welcome into the program with the coach, Brady Sallee, Joel Godett. Glad to have you along with us. It's like Sesame Street, brought to you by the letter T.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We're happy that rule's in place right now, that's for sure.
It was an eventful week. Good one, though. 2-0.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's at this time of year, you're just trying to keep your head above water. You're trying to win whatever night you're playing, and you move on to the next one quickly. And proud of the team for their resolve. And we had to play a tough, hard-fought basketball game on Saturday. And we were ready for it and got a big win because of it.
We'll get to Northern Illinois a little bit more as the program goes on, but two really hard games for you, two kind of tough-nosed games, and that kind of seems to be what the West is shaping up to be. Very physical, kind of very smash-mouth basketball.
Well, and going into the season, everybody looked at the West and said, "Oh my gosh, look at what's set up here." You had Central pick first, us pick second. I think Western right behind that with everybody back. Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Northern. There wasn't a night off on the West side ever. And then it's playing out that way and maybe even tougher, and it looks a little bit different because Central's gotten banged up a little bit and Western for a long time was leading, but it's just going to be an absolute gauntlet going through these next 4 games and the West playing the West and who knows how this thing's going to shake out. But at the end of the day, you just got to try to win your next one and you got to be tough enough to do it.
Sue Guevara picked you guys, by the way.
Well, she couldn't pick herself, that's why.
What, you can't?
No.
Oh, I didn't know you weren't able to vote for yourself.
Yeah. So, of course, she
like
can't pick herself. Yeah. She's just trying to put the monkey on my back. That's the way Sue is sometimes. But she knew she had the best team with Crystal healthy, with the Green kid and the Cotton kid. And it's really unfortunate to see a team that was that good with those 3 kids have those kind of injuries. But to Sue's credit, she's going to have the group that she's got playing at a high level when it comes to the end of this thing. So I know we've got to go back up there, not looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of other people aren't either.
A lot of freshmen having to play for Central Michigan because of all the injuries, and some of them very well. We'll see some of them, but it was your sophomores that stepped up early. Joe Morrison knocks down the 3, and very back and forth kind of first half here, but you guys never trailed after 2-0. So you were always in control, but Central never went away.
Yeah, control is maybe a strong word, but
you were at least driving.
There you go. I tell the team all the time that you're never going to come out and win a game in the first 4 minutes. It's never going to be over at that point, and you've got to embrace the grind. And I thought that's what we did. You see, Renee Bennett really starting to play at the level we all envisioned her playing, and gets her own rebound back, puts it in. And with the matchup zone, we knew if we could just move the ball and be patient, we would get any shot we really wanted. And you can see Shelby Justice hitting a 3, and then Mariah Monaco coming back and a little penetrating kick 3 there. Mariah's shooting the ball very well here as the season winds down. And then, we had to pick our moments to go get some transition buckets because they were going to cover back, and Candace doing a really good job of understanding the numbers and pulling up and hitting that little mid-range jump shot.
Let's talk about Aaliyah Soiree for a second for Central Michigan. She had played 48 minutes all year.
Yeah.
She plays 30 minutes in this game, buries 4 threes in the first half. Big reason why Central hung around.
Well, and I don't know if I've talked everyone into this or not, but I told my team, we're going to get everyone's best shot, whether it's an individual, a kid like Soiree, who's a good player, just hadn't gotten minutes because of some upperclassmen, but with their injury, she had to play, and she was ready, and she came in with nothing to lose, and we had to withstand that and make some big plays to stretch this out and make sure we got the win.
There she is, burying the 3 in the corner. At that point, makes it just a 3-point game. Rebounding was a big issue. You guys got a lot of offensive rebounds. You gave up 20, but that's what Central does.
Right.
You saw Nathalie with 1. You got 15.
Yeah, now that's big for us. And to out rebound this basketball team, they came in +7. We were -3. That was a cause for worry for me. So I was very, very happy with that. We come out there in the second half and run a play to get Nathalie a quick touch and quick basket, and then we followed up inside out, and Jill hits a big 3. And so it's always important to start that half off the right way. You can see Renee getting deep position. Our kids making a great entry pass there. And again, Shelby Justice, man, was she feeling it, and played at a high level. and very, very efficient. Didn't have to take a whole lot of shots to score. And, you know, in true Central Ball State fashion, you know, nobody's going to go away in this game. It's going to be a battle, and you can see here they tied up, I think, at 51 all, and then we hit that free throw, and then Shelby and Nathalie basically take over.
Yep.
And, you know, and I think they scored every field goal that we had except for one where Nathalie had the assist to Renee on a high-low. And that's what you need your top 2 players to do and your upperclassmen do. Great catch and finish. I don't know how she got this up there, but you know, she's that good sometimes. And, they killed us sometimes on that backside block, but like I said, Sue's going to have this team playing well, and you can see what they did in their last game against Western Michigan. They got it turned around and won that game. So, you know, we did just enough here and played tough enough to get a big one. Again, can't mention the job that Shelby Justice did for us right there, and whenever she and Nathalie are playing at that level, it's going to be a good night for the Ball State Cardinals.
Central actually took a 2-point lead in this game, 9 minutes and 22 seconds left. Cardinals went on a 13-2 run after that, and as you mentioned, it was all Shelby Justice and Nathalie Fontaine. Back-to-back games for Shelby Justice, career highs.
Yeah.
21 against Bowling Green, a new one, 22. Also had 8 rebounds against Central Michigan. And then Nathalie Fontaine, we talked about, she was player of the week last week because she averaged a double-double. Mm-hmm. And she still is. Yeah. 23 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, she, again, had a great week. And you know, I think one of her most impressive games was just the other day at Northern where she only had 12. But I'm telling you, every time she caught it, she at least had 3 people on her. But she's playing that way right now. She deserves that respect from other teams. Everybody knows where she is. She's putting these numbers up with a game plan devised to shut her down. And she's still doing it. And that's the mark of a great player.
Let's do a little foreshadowing. Free throws were big in this game.
Yes.
16 of 20 you guys shot. Central was 4 of 5. Everybody hit them. You just took a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, and you know, as we've gone through this season, you see us, you know, been able to guard a lot of different ways, and we've extended and pressured, and we've done some stuff with our blitz. And, you know, this time of year you start leaning a little bit more towards that tough, hard-nosed, half-court style. That is what usually is going to win championships. And so now you're starting to see us really defend smartly. We're not fouling a whole lot, and sometimes we're asking them to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, but I want them to be disciplined. I want to win points in the paint. I want to win the free throw battle. I want to win the rebound battle. If we can do those 3 things, it bodes well for us.
Let's go to DeKalb. Game 2 of the season, or game 2 of the week. Game 2 of the. Let's roll the highlights.
You do this for a living?
I try. Let's go to DeKalb, where the Cardinals escape with a 1-point win. 51-50, they take down Northern Illinois, and it certainly was a tough-fought one, and it certainly came down at the very end of the game. We're going to see it. Free throws, 3 missed front ends. You had an 8-point lead evaporate, and Northern Illinois gets an opportunity. Trent Tucker rule helps you out a little bit. But before we even get there, hard-nosed, smash-mouth, physical game. You got to get it inside. And, again, Nathalie Fontaine, through a double team, goes to work.
I think a big stat in this game was 30 points in the paint to 8. For them, and you can see early on with some of the highlights that we threw it into Renee, threw it into Nat, and we didn't hit many threes in this game, so we had to win the game in the paint. And Northern does a great job defending, and they weren't going to let us beat them from the 3-point line, and we had to throw it into our bigs. And you know, they had a Gorman kid again in true Ball State fashion, and you know, she'd hit 7 threes all year. She hits 4 in this game. You know, and so
always works out that way.
Yeah, you know, it's the curse of Brady. But we were tough enough. I thought Kaylin played a huge game. She had the responsibility of guarding their best player, and Amanda Corral did a tremendous job. Held her to 16. That's how good Amanda Corral's playing. We held her to 16. But Kaylin was also 3 of 3, hitting those mid-range jump shots. You can see again, Renee just battling in the post, getting deep position, and boy. It's nice to have her playing at this level and know we can throw it inside.
Yeah, she's something special at this point. Really developed, and the light bulb went on finally.
Yeah, it did, and I think she's having a lot of fun with the way she's playing, and she's so active. She's going and getting offensive rebounds and putbacks, and you can see again. There's Nathalie just getting the tar beat out of her. Look at that offensive rebound.
She beat 3 people for it.
I mean, she just wanted it more than they did, and you know, I think she's starting to see, holy cow, like I'm pretty good too. And when that goes off sometimes for these young kids.
He hasn't been lying to me.
You know, it's definitely a good thing to see.
This game went back and forth. Nobody led by more than 3 in the second half until Ball State led by 4 with 4 minutes and 27 seconds left. It was an N1, so led by 5 after that. But nobody led by more than 3 for the first 15 minutes of the second half.
You know, and every game we've ever played with Northern has been like this. And so for 2.5 days, I told my team, we've got to embrace the grind. It's going to be that back and forth. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 possessions. Little did I know it's going to come down to about a 100th of a second. But you can see, again, Nathalie just having to create offense. And you know, that's what they force you to do. You have to go make plays. And, you know, kid hitting a big shot for them. And you can see just the back and forth nature, little high-low here. I mean, that's great stuff out of Renee.
And it flips it, because usually that play is getting run for Nat.
Exactly. And so Renee was the one. She wasn't playing with the double teams like Nat was. So we went with her a little bit more down on the block and tried to get Nathalie moving a little bit. But you can see pretty good ball movement here, and how about Iverson there? Little Jill Iverson taking it to the rack, and a big and one right there, and actually made her free throw after this, so that was good. Candace makes a huge 3 right there as the shot clock's winding down. How about that? Throw a lob play for Renee, and ends up being the game winner. You know, right now we're up 8. And you think, okay, we're in pretty good shape, and then we quit defending. We're standing around because we don't want to foul. They're laying it up. Here's another one, quit defending. She drives it in, and, you know, I mean, you still got to defend in this situation. But, again, they're fouling, and we're missing free throws. Then with a 4-point game, probably close out a little bit short there and let a kid hit a 3. And then, you know, you got to go get this rebound. And it ends up going out of bounds, and I thought the game was over at this point. But they chose to put point 3, and
it's a good point 3.
Yeah, and you know, and the rule is with point 3, it's got to be a tip.
Yep.
And that's a written rule, and everybody knows it. The officials were all over it. You can see them waving it off right away. And I've been on Kathy's end of it before. I know it doesn't, you know, you hate the rule at that moment. But she's been doing this long enough. She's won her fair share of those kind. I've been doing it long enough. I've lost mine, won mine, and you know, we survived.
Yeah.
That's about as best as I can say. But it's about winning, you know, and style points and the way you beat and all that kind of stuff. It's about winning right now, and I'm proud of my team for going into a tough place where they had only lost 2 games all year at home. Yeah. And we were their 3rd loss. Yeah, you can't see anybody out there, but anyway, it is what it is.
It's interesting, too, the way it works out, because they went back and put point 3 on the clock.
Right.
It's not that it just didn't happen to stop there.
Right.
So it's the difference between, let's put point 4 versus, let's put point 3, and it just works out.
And I think, well, it's hard to know what the decision process was. I went back and watched that end. To me, they could have called the game. Because you know, you watch it, and as that ball is hitting the floor to actually be out of bounds, it's really about a 0.1-ish, somewhere in there.
And at 0.1, you just call it.
Well, no, you don't call it, but like, you know, there's the referee's reaction that's got to take some time. So from the time it hits to the time there's the whistle, you know, there's going to be some time. So to me, I don't know that any time should have been put on, but I think they did a good job of going and saying, listen, ball's out of bounds, there's some time, we're going to put point 3. All they can do is tip it. And, you know, if they make a great play, they deserve to win. And if Ball State has a pulse, they'll defend this and get out of here. And luckily, the rule worked out in our favor.
Well, Nathalie Fontaine, we've talked about her a lot. She's been playing really well for the Cardinals as of late. And we haven't really talked about her in depth yet on the program. The growth from Nathalie Fontaine, from the freshman Swedish wonder into a potential Mid-American Conference Player of the Year, certainly a Player of the Year candidate. Let's take a look at the growth of Nathalie Fontaine over 3 years. From the day she set foot in Muncie, you knew Nathalie Fontaine was something special.
I was kind of bad at first when I got here. I mean, I didn't really understand if I got triple teamed or double teamed, like I would take the shots anyways.
Okay, fine, but you know, a lot of them went in. She did lead the team in scoring.
A lot of inefficient offense, didn't pass the ball great. You know, the assist to turnover ratio was really upside down. She shot a good percentage, but she didn't make a whole lot of players better.
Wait, so what did she actually do then?
She pretty much put all of us on her back and carried us to the amazing run we had her freshman year. And we made it to the Sweet 16 of the WNIT, so she just carried us. Usually a lot of freshmen aren't that confident in themselves, and they are not consistent like Nathalie was when she was a freshman.
So it's all relative, because as a freshman, Fontaine led the Cardinals in scoring and rebounding, was MAC Freshman of the Year, was a monumental piece of the 7 from heaven that advanced deep into the WNIT. And it was quite literally a small taste of what was to come.
What's interesting for me is when I go back and I put in last year's films as we're getting ready for some of these conference teams, and you always want to go back and see kind of what their game plans were. You see last year's Nathalie, or 2 years ago Nathalie, or early season last year Nathalie, and she's a different animal.
That was a goal for me. I mean, being the best at everything I do, and obviously basketball is something that I'm most passionate about right now.
The improvement has Fontaine's scoring and rebounding numbers rising, along with everything else. She's top 15 in the MAC in 7 different categories, and has the second best field goal percentage of those ranked top 10 in scoring. The secret to her growth? It's not really a secret at all.
I can't say that I was the most aggressive player when I was back home, played back home. I didn't go hard in practice at all. I didn't get a lot of shots up by myself or individual workouts. So I think just coming here, really realizing what hard work is.
Her first year, I'm not sure she understood why we practiced, and now she comes in ready to compete at a high level every single day, and I think you're seeing the fruits of that labor pay off.
Most evident of late, Fontaine's averaging 17 and 10 over the last 6 games. The Cardinals 5-1, helping her claim a spot on the league's current and the program's all-time pantheon of greats.
I was fortunate enough to see tomorrow, and I saw Kate Endress. I know how good they were. I've seen Nathalie, and I'm probably a little bit biased, but she is in that category. Remains to be seen where she ends up in the folklore of Ball State women's basketball. Her focus has to be on us winning championships, and all that other stuff takes care of itself.
But Fontaine's development isn't just as a basketball player, and that isn't necessarily what she expected when she first got here.
My freshman year, I came here very young in my mind, just thinking basketball, basketball, basketball. And I think as the years gone by, I know that basketball is a big part right now, but school is going to be important because you won't be able to play your whole life. So just finding something I'm interested in school helped.
She does understand why she's here and what the future holds. It's been fun to see her grow up in this program.
Just makes you wonder, how much more growing up is there over the next year ahead? Brady, how much more growing up is there in the next year ahead?
I tell you, I think there's still so much more to her game that we've yet to tap. And sometimes, you know, you get so caught up in just trying to win, and you know, you use her the best way you need to win. And you know, during the season, it's hard to develop. And so I think this off season is going to be big for her if she wants to really take that next step and really set herself up for pro ball and the future. We've got to get her going left, finishing left. I think, you know, her sitting out this summer has hurt the 3-ball just a little bit because of the back injury, and you know, she had to get healthy, and that was the most important thing. But I think you've seen that kind of plateau just a little bit. She had made great strides between her freshman and sophomore year. So there's a couple places. But then I think she can sit down and defend on the perimeter. And those are the places we're going to really try to make her better.
Let's take a look at where she and the Cardinals sit. Grand scheme of things right now, Ball State is the 2 seed if the MAC tournament were to be played today. Let's take a look at the standings first very quickly in the East, because that's where the 1 seed is. Ohio right now, overall 12-2, a full game ahead of you guys. They have Buffalo, Kent State, Miami, Bowling Green left on their schedule. Buffalo, obviously the most troublesome of those opponents. Flip things over to the Western Division, and that's where you guys sit atop. You're 11-3, full 2-game lead over Western Michigan, which is huge down the home stretch.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We've positioned ourselves, and now we've got to go about taking care of business. You know, but I just don't think you can get caught up in all this.
Yeah.
You just got to try to win a game and then try to win another one.
You want to know today.
Yeah, and that's as cheesy as it comes off sometimes. That's what we're trying to do.
It's all true stuff, though.
It is, and the key is your team drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And I think they are. I think they just want to win the next one.
Let's take a look at what's ahead of you. Win the next one. Eastern Michigan comes up next for Ball State. It's home. You went on the road last time and won there. 10-point victory. Came down to some hitting some free throws. They're always a tough team. Let's talk about what's ahead.
Well, you know, they play a very tough system with some pressing, some matchup zone and that kind of thing. They've got some dynamic guards that can, you know, Shea Sweeney, Janae Morton, they jump out at you. But now this year they can really shoot it from the perimeter, which is something a little bit different than his teams in the past. So you can't just pack it in on them. So rebounding is going to be huge, transition defense going to be big, and then taking care of the ball is going to be absolutely monumental. So we're going to have to do all three of those things to get out of here with a win on Wednesday.
Exactly 2 weeks ago, the Cardinals played Eastern Michigan. Nathalie had 19 and 15. That was the week she became MAC West Player of the Week. Renee Bennett had 15 points on 8 shots. Eastern Michigan hit 11 threes in this game as well. Shea Sweeney, you talked about her a little bit. She's so dynamic and she's so small, 5'4", but still doesn't let that impact her.
Impossible to guard because she's that athletic. She knows how to play using her height or lack thereof, and she's good. She played a lot of places, and you know, she really is a matchup nightmare.
Cardinals get Eastern Michigan at home this time. It's Wednesday night, $1 dog night as well. So if you got an appetite, I don't know if they let you do that on the bench, but
at halftime I may go up there depending on how the game goes.
That's fair. Cardinals were up double figures much of the game, second half when they took on Eastern Michigan. But they, you know, it's kind of like what we saw with Central Michigan. They made a surge late, and it comes down to, hey, just win. You found a way to stave it off.
Yeah, and again they start hitting some threes, but we stuck to the game plan. I think that was key, and it played out for us. We got a big win there in Ypsilanti.
Series all-time does favor Eastern Michigan. You see at the bottom 37-32, and Cardinals did win by 10 last time they met, again, exactly 2 weeks ago. We'll wrap the show up on something a little bit different here, Brady. We always talk to players about, you know, their personal lives, development, growth, basketball. We only talk to you about games, so we figured we would change things up a little bit. This is the inner James Lipton in me. I've always wanted to do this, and I figured he'd be good for it.
Okay.
As he always ends inside the actor's studio with the questionnaire made famous for 26 years by the French journalist Bernard Pivot.
This is too much for me right now, but I'm going to go ahead with it.
This is what we got.
Okay.
Number 1, what is your favorite word?
Unbelievable.
Really?
Yes. Right now, you're unbelievable.
What is your least favorite word?
Soft.
I could see that coming. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Defense and rebounding.
Trophies, toughness.
All those bruises, bumps, all those things. That's kind of the way I'm wired.
Turns you off?
Probably apathy. You know, that's something that really just does not sit well with me, in not just in basketball, but in anything. It just drives me bonkers, and probably have had some moments where I've showed myself just a little bit to that type of an attitude when maybe I shouldn't have, but that is definitely a pet peeve of mine.
Number 5 is, what is your favorite curse word? We're going to skip that one. Number 6, what sound or noise do you most love?
Probably the sound of my kids playing in the house, and you know, that sound of family. You know, I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm immersed in watching game film, whatever it may be, and I hear them, and I'll just kind of put it on pause, and I'll just stop and listen. And probably as much as I'm gone and not around, sometimes those moments are becoming priceless to me, and that's definitely a sound that I love to hear.
What sound do you most hate?
Referee's whistle.
I thought it would have been the T sign, the sound of.
I think that goes without saying, but sometimes I don't mind the T when I want one. But yeah, that shrill whistle probably wakes me up at night.
We've got a minute left, so I'll wrap these two together. What profession other than your own would you most like to attempt and least like to attempt?
Well, I'll start with the least first, teaching.
Okay. You do it every day.
Yeah, but it's different. The type of teaching I get to do, because those players want to be in that classroom.
Yeah.
You know, they're driven to be there. That's their passion. You know, what teachers do, I have the utmost respect for. But again, you probably deal with a lot of apathy in their classrooms. Boy, I tell you, probably like an FBI agent, a cop, you know, something undercover.
I can sympathize with that. Only if it's like it is on TV.
I wouldn't even mind that. I just think there's still the team part of what you do.
Yeah.
There's still the game, so to speak, that you have to win. And there's the gameplay that I think is important.
We got to go. Thanks for playing.
All right. This was fun.
It's off the court. We'll see you next week.